Hi, everyone, and welcome, network marketers and those who are interested in being network marketers, especially you, are in the right place. Because did you know that after you take out all the time that you spend sleeping and all the time that you spend commuting and all the time that you spend working and all the time that you spend running around doing all the things in life that have to be done, that at the end of the day, most people pretty much have about 1, maybe 2 hours to themselves to do the things that they like to do. And even if they had more time, would they even have any money to be able to do those kinds of things? Well, we have found a way for you to own your life by starting a home-based business that is so simple that anybody can do it. I mean, literally anybody can do this. And the best part is it does not involve any selling, nor will it take up very much of your time. That, my friends, right there is the core of successful network marketing. That is the 45-second presentation. That is what the Own Your Life plan, the 45-second presentation, that's what we study on New Up Days here, and that is the core right there of what it's all about, and that is success in network marketing. I am Paul Romero, and I am hanging out from my kitchen here in South Lake Tahoe on a sort of dark morning. It looks like it stopped snowing. I don't know how much we got. I haven't looked yet, but it doesn't look like a whole lot. But more snow in the mountains today. And who are you? And where are you hanging out from? Type it in. Let us know. We like to know who's hanging out here with us on these days. And today, as always, or at least as most days, I have here with me today my network marketing sponsor, Mr. John Leister, who is hanging out from where, John? Where are you hanging out from?
Hey everybody, how you doing this beautiful morning? I'm hanging out from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm very excited to be here because it's one of my favorite days of the session. What is this? Wisdom Website Wednesday, where we bring you, as always, little gold nuggets of information that you can apply to your personal development and to your network marketing businesses for greater success. Today we kind of focus on the Website Wednesday a little bit on what some of the specifics of Swiss Gold Global are. And Swiss Gold Global is the network marketing organization that Paul and myself belong to. But you know what? If you're not involved with Swiss Gold Global, or maybe you're not sure you're even interested in Swiss Gold Global, but you are a network marketer, you know what? Still join us for the next 20 minutes. Because like I said, we're always dropping little gold nuggets of information out there throughout these hangouts, which quite frankly can be applied to any business or any personal development strategy that you have. So with that, welcome to the show. It's always amazing and awesome to have Paul host these things, and he's looking especially spry and happy this morning. So I'm going to throw this back over to him to kind of kick the ball and get things running.
Kickball. I remember that game. I used to love that game. Yeah. So you know what? Yeah, we usually, and we'll get back into that. Quite possibly, I would think probably next session, because I think we can knock out what we're going to cover here today and Friday, being that this is the beginning of the year. We finished off last year by on Wisdom Wednesday, and I don't even remember what I did on Freedom Friday, but on Wisdom Wednesday, Wisdom Website Wednesday, Wid Web Web, Wid Wed, we Wiz Wed Web. That's a Wiz Web Wed. I don't know. I can't get that right. But anyway, we talked about a strategy for setting yourself up for success in 2016, and we talked about a simple little crash course plan that we put together that was a way for you to outline your future, so to speak, to start creating your future, because that's what we do here. There is no, you know, luck. You make your own luck, and you make your own success, and you make this world and what it is, what you want it to be. That's how it works. And so we created a little plan there for you guys to get out there and start putting that together, putting your vision together, so to speak. And we talked about it being, look at 3 years from today, and doing this on a Friday morning and putting 2 hours into this, finding a nice quiet place, looking out 3 years from today and saying, this is what I want to have, be, and do 3 years from now in 5 specific areas, which were physical, spiritual, um, mentally, emotional, relationships, and financial. And those 5 areas, what do you want to have, be, and do 3 years from today? And spend 2 hours and write that out and study it throughout that day. And then the next day we said to take that same list and break it down to, 1 year from today. Okay, what do I want to have, be, and do 1 year from today in these 5 areas in order to see myself making progress towards my 3-year goal. And then we said to, on the third day, to break that down into a 30-day plan or a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Maybe you only went to 90 days, either way. But to break that down into a 30, 60, 90-day plan, as into exactly what do I need to be starting to do and doing over the first quarter of this year in order to, point me in the right direction towards the end of year 1 and ultimately the beginning of year 3. And so today I just kind of wanted to, go over that just a little bit and to sort of break it down, that if you did get all the way down to your 30-day, that's awesome. And now that you're in your 30-day, and this is only the 6th day of the year, I would like to just real quickly cover the whole idea of taking that and breaking it down to, okay, now where am I right now, and what do I need to do over these next 24 days in order to get to those 30-day goals that I wrote out. And that's kind of where I figured we'd take this today, and maybe if we need to on Friday as well too. And then next session we can get back in here on our WizWeb Wed Day and WizWeb Wednesday. And we can get into, like John was talking about, what we normally do here, which is talk about, our specific vehicles, Swissco Global, and how the organization works, the operation of the business, and just everything that goes around with our particular vehicle in network marketing. Which, as John said, whether you're in Swissco Global or any other network marketing organization, or whether you're just thinking about becoming into a network marketing organization, the information that we give here out on Wednesdays can apply to any level of that in any organization, because it is a universal business. It really is it's already a structured thing. That's what's beautiful about network marketing. It's a business system that's already put together for you. Well, one network marketing organization to the next pretty much operates in the same way. There are some different nuances and whatnot, but if you learn how to do all the right things, it doesn't really matter which one you get into, you can be successful.
Absolutely. I don't know what to say. I kind of got lost there in what you were saying.
So we talked about looking at, 3 years from today, what do I want to, and here's what I did. I wrote out my little thing here, and I wrote down January 1st, 2016, even though it was prior to January 1st, but that doesn't matter. I'm starting it on that day. And I wrote out January 1st, 2016, 3 years from today, what will I have, who will I be, and what will I be doing in the areas, in these 5 specific areas: physical world, spiritual world, mental and emotional world, relationship world, and my financial world. And that's kind of where I started my page out. And then I broke it down into those 5 areas, and I just started writing out, okay, physically, what do I want to have? And I wrote out a little thing here of what I want to have, what I want to have, who I want to be, and what I want to be doing 5 years from, or not 5 years, 3 years from now, physically. And I did the same thing spiritually, which I kind of was a little weak in that area, just because, I don't know, to me that's one of the more difficult areas to really kind of get into the nuances of. Next, I went into the mental and emotional, and did the same thing. Who do I want to be, what do I want to have, and what do I want to be doing in this area right here, mental and emotionally, as far as the way I think and feel about things. Then I went into relationships, the same thing, those 3 questions. Who do I want to be, what do I want to have, and what do I want to be doing relationship wise? as far as with both. I kind of broke this down into two separate areas, one of business and one of personal. And then I went into the financial area and broke down, who do I want to be, what do I want to have, and what do I want to be doing here. And this is an area where, for me, this is the easiest area, but it's also kind of hard because, I went big, and you don't have to go big, but I went big on this as far as what my financial is. And for me right now, in this stage of the game, looking forward 3 years, some of the other stuff is a little bit more difficult to me than this is, because monetary money, you can always kind of think of money and things that you want to have and be and do and those sorts of things in the terms of money and what money can do for you. But when it comes down to, what you want to have in relationships, what you want to, how you want to be mental and emotionally, spiritually, physically is a little bit easier, but those other three can be kind of difficult, I feel, in my mind.
I tend to agree with Paul a little bit on that. Looking at those areas to set up a 3-year plan for yourself, or not even necessarily a plan for 3 years, a 3-year vision. Asking yourself those questions: what will I have? Who will I be? Where will I be physically? Or not even where will I be? Where do you want to be physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, in your business and your personal life? You're not going to get to where you want to go if you don't have a roadmap. And this is sort of what Paul's really trying to drive home, is how important is success to you? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll ask Paul this question. What would you say your commitment level is?
On a scale of 1 to 10, mine, I'm actually going to be fairly honest here. My commitment level is, I'm going to say about a 9, because I just don't have that last little piece in place to be 100% committed in all areas right now that is missing from me really advancing forward at the pace that I want to be moving forward. And so but that all comes out of putting this together, I think.
Absolutely. And the reason I asked that question, which is kind of a loaded question, 98% of the people out there, if you ask them what their commitment level to anything is on a scale of 1 to 10, well, of course, 98% of the people out there are going to turn around and say, my commitment level is a 10. And I appreciate Paul's honesty very much, because I think that makes Paul a 10 right there. The fact that he can admit that he still has things to work on. So he might think he's a 9. His answer makes me think he's a 10, because it's about being honest with yourself. And so sit down and envision where you really want to be in 10. I'm sorry, you might want to do a 10-year plan, but for the purposes of what we're doing, a 3-year vision for yourself. It's important to do this and write it down. Do you have physical goals, financial goals, emotional goals, mental, spiritual, all of that? If you have goals and you tell me, or you saying out loud that you're committed 100%, I'm scale of 1 to 10, I'm committed at a 10, and you don't actually take the time to go through and do Paul's exercise here and write down your goals, write down your vision for yourself in 3 years, then you're nowhere near a commitment level of 10. If you can't even, invest a little bit of time to focus in on what your goals are and what you need to accomplish in order to be successful, and write it down so it becomes real and you have a roadmap and a plan, then you're really not committed to your success. And that's just the bottom line. You have to take this stuff very seriously. And if you apply this into your life, Paul can attest to this, I know, and myself as well from personal experiences, this stuff really does work in moving you forward, getting you closer to your vision. And I bring that up because I guarantee most of the people that have stumbled into this hangout or have been watching this hangout probably haven't even sat down and started to think about this yet. And your intention's good. You watch the hangout, you talk about these topics, you think about it, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm committed 100% this year to my personal growth and development. Are you really? Have you given anything up? Have you made any changes within the first 5 days to put you in a new direction? Have you sat down and done this exercise? That will tell you right there if you're really committed to it or not. And then as far as some of the stuff you talked
already
about,
blown your New Year's resolution.
yeah. I like to call them life resolutions or life changes. Spiritual, that's funny you bring that up. That's always been kind of a tougher one to me because I really don't know what my spiritual goals are really. Like, I know it's not just going to church every Sunday because I don't see that really does much for me spiritually. I think it's more of a personal commitment to personal growth. Still, in my mind, developing what it exactly does spiritual mean. Does spiritual mean I'm all Zen and Buddhist and I meditate all the time? Or do I pray to God and become a Christian? I really don't know what spirituality means. Does it mean that I have a vision for what life is like after death? I don't know. I have a difficult time with this one. I guess my definition of spirituality is living by the golden rule.
I think the golden rule, and I think a good way to look at that too is also just like, the pursuit of the truth. What is real, and what I mean, what is real as far as how you as a human being interact with this world. You know what I'm saying? That's sort of human to nature to the unknown. How do these three things sort of evolve around each other? And I think that's sort of, in my mind, that's sort of what true spirituality really is the understanding of all, where do I fit in, kind of a thing. What am I here for, and all that, and all. So I mean, is it definite? Is it just what's what the church says about God and religion and the Bible and all that? I say no. I say it goes far beyond that. I say that's a part of it, absolutely, 100%, a big part of it, but it goes far beyond that as well too. And what you said earlier, John, about this whole system here being sort of a roadmap for you to start out on. What we're talking about here and the difficulty of getting started with this is that, it's really sort of hard to sit down and look at this stuff and introspect upon yourself to, pull these ideas out from inside of you, of who you want to be and where you want to be and what you want to have and what you want to be doing and all that sort of stuff. What you want to have and what you want to be doing sometimes is pretty much the easier part as well too. Who you want to be in all five of these areas is kind of the real core of pulling out the secret sauce, I guess, out of this plan here, because I mean, it really does come down to who you want to be as a person. Ultimately, that's going to allow you to achieve the things that you write down that you want to have and want to be doing. And when you first start doing this, relating it to a roadmap or a road trip, it's kind of like starting out in the deep, dark, dense fog of San Francisco, where you can get this idea of what it looks like in sunny Florida, but you really have no idea. You can't even see the street light in front of you to know which way to make your first left or right. And that's why we kind of put this whole program together here, so that you can sort of you can see yourself getting out of this fog and getting to Florida, but you're looking right down in front of your face here, you can't see where the heck to go first. And this is how you make that first decision, is by doing that. So once you've got that 3-year, like I just talked about right there, but the big vision, then basically go back and do the very same thing and break down each one of those 5 categories even farther to, okay, well, let me see here. If I'm going to go from San Francisco to Florida, about 1/3 of the way should be what? The west side of Texas, Colorado, somewhere around there. What do I need to do to get just to there, so I know that I'm well on my way towards getting to where I want to go? And that's kind of how this whole thing works. And then once you've got that piece in place and you've got a real clear vision of getting out of this fog and into another state, so to speak, then you break that whole thing down into the 30, 60, 90 day, which is getting you out of that city and out of that fog and just getting the first the first steps, knowing that, okay, the first thing I got to do is I got to find and get onto the freeway, right? So I can get the heck out of here, so I can get headed towards that bridge, so I can get over across the bay and I can get out of this place. And so that's kind of how this whole thing sort of breaks down into a road, or breaking things down into a road trip is kind of fun. Don does that in his book.
And that's basically, actually, we just went over that on the last hangout, what that looks like, getting in gear, getting behind the wheel, and getting started on your road trip towards success. And a lot of that has to do with setting personal goals, setting financial goals, setting goals for what you want to accomplish in your business. That's why we kind of replaced the website portion of Wednesdays with the wisdom content. And this is very wise stuff here, because it's important that you have some sort of vision for yourself. Otherwise, you're just drifting, going through life haphazardly with no purpose, no aim in mind. Again, how do you get somewhere if you don't know where you're going? And that's what this is all about. Figuring out, doing some personal self-introspection, and figuring out what it is that you want. What is your goals? Figure yourself out, and then move forward towards becoming the person that you want to be. So that's kind of my final thought on all this today. I hope that everybody is at least working through these exercises. Don't get discouraged if you sit down with your notebook and you're like, all right, 3 years, this will be easy. And then you just don't know what to write down. It could be difficult, especially if you're a person who's not used to journaling, writing down your goals. It's like not going to the gym and stepping into the gym for the first time, and that workout just kicking your ass. The brain is a muscle and it needs to be worked out. And this is kind of the necessary steps to get the blood flowing, get the mind invigorated and exercised and thinking forward. And this will make a big difference in your life. So with that, I'm going to toss it back over to Paul. You mentioned something about the pursuit of truth being a form of spirituality. And there was some just really awesome stuff I wanted to get into that I looked up, and I'm not going to. I'm going to bring it up Friday, and it has to do with the truth and the price of gold and silver versus production costs of gold and silver right now. Mind-blowing shit. So come back Friday, and I'm sure you'll get some nuggets of wisdom on Freedom Friday. So I'll see you then. Paul, go ahead, close us out.
So with that, if you've been following us on these last couple of hangouts with this little outline for 2016 and your future, if you haven't done it, do it. Okay, get out there and start working this out. And I'm going to say one thing about it. Like John was just talking about, it being difficult for some people to be able to do this. And that's kind of what we were focusing on here today. You might find that you write your 3-year thing down, and then you go to do your 1-year thing down, and you start writing it, and you're almost like writing the same exact thing over and over again. That's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Go from there, break it down into now the 30, 60, 90 day. Now that's where you start really kind of getting into some more detail. The 90 day might even be very similar to your 1 year. But then once you get that, you bring that in a little bit closer. Now you can finally, see a little bit into that fog, and you can say, okay, well, I can see actually right now, if I want to be here in 90 days, or if I want to be here in just 60 days, in 30 days, I'm going to need to have to do this, this, and this. So the closer you get to now in this process, the easier it's going to get to actually come up with some more specific types of things. And the great thing about the way this is set up is why we do a 30, 60, 90 day, is because you can start this thing right now. You can be completely off base. Then reevaluate what you had put together and see where you actually took off. You might realize that, I started off heading west, or I started off heading south when I meant to be going east, and I'm completely off track right now, and I need to reorganize everything and get back on base. You might find that. You might find that you wanted to head off east, and you headed off just, side kind of like, east by southeast. You weren't very far off. You just need to make a few corrections to sort of get back on track. So that's what this is all about, and it's all about tracking your success and tracking your progress. And we talked about some of that the other day as well too, and we're going to get into more of that. So with that, everybody, get started, go do this, and be ready to, don't feel like if it doesn't work out in 30 days from now, you're completely wrong. Don't feel like you screwed it all up and it's not worth your time. That's a good thing, because now you know where not to go. You need to know where not to go, just as you need to know where to go. So with that, oh universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. And that's a beautiful sunny beach with a Mai Tai in my hand. Bye, everybody.